All right, sweetheart, I'm back. And now we're going to start to work on these little metal bracket things right here. So I'm going to turn off all my other layers first, and I'm going to make a new layer. And I'm going to drag it up to the top for now. We'll probably have to rearrange these later on, but for now I'm going to do that. And I'm actually going to zoom in really close on one, and I'll focus on this one over here first, all right? Because we want to do a really good job of painting this. Now, the way we're going to paint this, we're going to actually use what's called the polygonal lasso tool, which I think you've used before, all right? So I'm going to go down to this third tool down is the lasso select tool. But if I go down to polygonal lasso, I'm going to click on that. And the way this works here, I'm going to zoom out one more time so we can see this just a little bit better so we don't see all the, there we go. The way this works like this is, watch, I'm just going to demonstrate over here. Every time I click, it drops like an anchor point, okay? And see how I can spin this around? And then I click again, and click again, and click again. Remember how we used this tool when we made the fruit face, okay? Well, right now, so that's just a silly selection I made just to show you it. But right now, we're going to make a selection around this Y-shaped metal bracket. Okay, so I'm going to deselect this because I have a selection going. So I want to deselect. I'm going to do Control D, deselect, or I can go to Select, deselect right there. All right. See, I accidentally dropped an anchor point, and I don't like it, so I'm going to hit the backspace so I can start over again. And I'm just going to now click around the shape of this thing. Take your time, just like we did with the fruit face. And get all the little curves and corners. Come around. Remember, you have to go back to the beginning. And now I have my selection because I can tell it's the selection's kept a little dotted line. Sometimes people call those little marching ants. Okay. And now I'm ready to paint this thing. So I'm going to go back to my paintbrush and I'm going to click on color. And I'm going to make this one a little bit different again. I kind of like these purples. So I'm going to take the gray here and just move it a little bit more into the purple range. Just so it stands out from the other grays that we used on the circle parts. And now I'm on my own layer. I've got a selection. I'm going to paint this. I got this huge brush. It's okay because the only place it's going to paint is inside the selection area. That's the way selections work. It makes it so the only thing that you can actually change is inside the selection, right? So now I'm going to deselect that. Do you remember how I deselect? I can do Control D on the keyboard, or I can go up here to Select, Deselect, and that makes those lines disappear. Let's turn everything up. So now we've got this cool bracket shape right here. Okay. Now, what are we going to do with that? I think we're going to do something a little different with it. Rather than painting each one of these separately, I'm going to duplicate this layer because we've got the same shape 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, so we did a really good job with the first one. So rather than repainting it, I'm just going to duplicate this layer. So to do that, I'm going to go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, or Control J, Layer, Duplicate Layer. And then you see how it says Layer 4 Copy right here? With my Move tool, I can go ahead and pull off that copy like this. Okay. And then I want to move it down here because I'm going to put it in here, but you can see it's not in the right direction. All right. So there's something at the top called transform control. You want to turn that on, click that on, and that puts this box around it. And you see when I do that, how I can, when I go to the corner, it gives me this little curved arrow thing. And I can rotate this. And then I can move it and get it into place. And I can rotate it. And then I can move it just like that. Okay. And I did a pretty good job. I'll turn this off. See, I've got 2 of them now. Now we're going to keep doing the same thing until we have all 5 of them done. So I'm going to duplicate this layer, Control J, or go to Layer, Duplicate Layer. I can use my hand tool to move myself around. And go to my Move tool, pull this down. I've got Transform Control turned on so I can rotate this and move it into place. And that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to go to Layer, Duplicate Layer, take my Move tool, bring it up here. Transform control is turned on so I can rotate this, put it into place. One more layer, duplicate layer, take the hand tool, move myself up there. Now I'll take my move tool, pull off that new layer,